Shut up and sit down.
Hey, I'm Simon.
I'm Ellie.
And if you like our silly videos, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell thing over there next to the subscribe button. That would be very kind of you. But for now, we're drinking a couple of drinks that are called...
Nemesis.
Nemesis. Why are they called Nemesis?
Because worrying about it is a lot worse than just getting through it.
Ah, that's...
By which I mean, there's Jägermeister in here.
Oh, dear. As long as it's not as bad as the Mango Monsters.
No, I've learned my lesson from the Mango Monsters.
Yes. So we're surprising each other tonight with movie trailers that the other person has not yet seen. And before we even get started, we wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone. We released a video a week ago for a movie called KGF Chapter 2, and we had such an overwhelming response of people liking and subscribing, and just wanted to say thank you to all the people who checked out that video. You guys are awesome.
MVPs.
So we had a couple of things that we also wanted to correct from last week's video. Now, first of all, I was talking about my history with Bollywood, and I may have implied incorrectly that KGF Chapter 2 was a Bollywood movie. And of course it's not. It makes zero sense. Saying that KGF Chapter 2 is Bollywood would be like saying that a Scottish person was from England or that a German movie was French cinema. They're completely different languages. KGF Chapter 2 was actually made by Kannada language-speaking people. Kannada is a language from southern India. It's actually spoken by 57 million people, so not a trivial number of people that speak that language. And the industry is known as sandalwood for the Kannada-speaking people. Bollywood is actually really Hindi-spoken movies, so completely different language, completely different part of India, massive population who supports sandalwood. So apologies if we gave you the wrong perception there.
And we do make every opportunity we can. We take the opportunity to learn and be corrected on things, and we will gladly admit when we've got gaps in knowledge, and we have huge gaps in knowledge when it comes to this kind of movie. And we were really glad to interact with some of you in the comments on our last trailer reaction, and we are really looking forward to exploring more about Asian cinema.
So the second goof we made was we referred to it as a trailer for KGF Chapter 2. It's actually a teaser. Honestly, in my own head, there's not a great deal of difference, but a lot of people corrected me, and you're right, it was a teaser for KGF Chapter 2, not a full trailer. The full trailer is coming really soon, though, and we will really look forward to checking that one out.
Definitely.
And the final goof that I made, which is really pivotal to the story, and it was just a mistake in my memory, was I think I said that Rocky's mother was killed by the villain in the first movie, and that was not correct. Rocky's mother, and I don't want to give you any spoilers if you haven't seen KGF Chapter 1, but I think it's important to clarify that his mother does not die due to a murder. She actually dies from a disease. Sadly, she has cancer in the first movie, and with no spoilers, it's her dying words that set Rocky on the path to where he ends up. So that's all I'm going to say about that, apart from sorry for my mistake. I hope you'll forgive us. And what we're going to do tonight is check out the final trailer for KGF Chapter 1. There were two trailers. There was kind of an early, shorter trailer that was more of a teaser, and there was a second final trailer that came out a few months before the movie's release in 2018. So we're going to check out trailer number 2 for KGF Chapter 1, if that's not too confusing for us, and hang around until the end, and we'll let you know what we thought.
Let's go.
Oh, that's a nice quote. Okay.
ವಿಧಿಯ ಕೈವಾಡ. ಆ ರಾತ್ರಿ 2 ಘಟನೆ ನಡೆಯಿತು. ಆ ಜಾಗನೂ ಹುಟ್ಟಿತು, ಅವನು ಹುಟ್ಟದ.
Yes. It's gonna be Rocky.
क्या चाहिए रे तेरे को?
दुनिया.
ನನ್ನ ರಕ್ತನ ಕೆಂಪಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ.
Oh, nice.
ओ भाई क्या तेरा बाप नहीं कह रहा?
नहीं रे, तेरे बाप की. और तेरा बाप मैं हूं.
ನನಗೊಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಒಂದು ಆನೆ ನುಡಿಬೇಕು.
ಹೊರಟ. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದ ದಾರಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ತಲುಪೋ ಜಾಗದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದರ ಅಮಾನುಷ ಚರಿತ್ರೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ.
Oh man.
ಬರೀ ಒಂದು ಬೊಕ್ಸೆ ರಕ್ತ ನೋಡಿ ನೀ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಹೆದರ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನು ರಕ್ತ ನದಿಯಾಗರಿಯೋ ಹೊರಟ್ಬಿಡು.
ಭಾವನೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಒಳಗಾಗಬೇಡ, ಇಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೆಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಎದೆಲ್ ಕಲ್ಲಿದ್ದವನ್ಗಿದೆಲ್ಲ ಅಂಟದು ಇಲ್ಲ.
Wow.
ಹಿಂದೆ 1000 ಜನ ನಿಂತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಧೈರ್ಯ ನಿನಗಿದ್ರೆ ಬರೀ ಒಂದು ಯುದ್ಧ ಗೆಲ್ಬೋದು. ಅದೇ ನೀನ್ ಮುಂದೆ ನಿಂತಿದ್ಯಾ ಅಂತ ಹಿಂದೆ ಇರೋ 1000 ಜನ ಧೈರ್ಯ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಪಂಚನೇ ಗೆಲ್ಬೋದು.
Oh my goodness. So, we've kind of done this backwards. We reacted to KGF Chapter 2. Now we're checking out the trailer for KGF Chapter 1. And so many of our viewers told me that KGF is not a movie. It's part of Indian culture now. And other people said to me, you will get emotional. And clearly, I'm not one of the stone-hearted. Because oh man, this movie has everything, right? Before I start gushing, what did you think of KGF Chapter 1's trailer?
It looks incredible, and I love, like, that it, from the very trailer, you can tell, like, him and these oppressive gold fields, they both were produced the same day. Like, they were both discovered the same day, so you know their destinies are tied. And I really like that. You've got all the women flocking to his birth, and then you've got all of the men flocking to the discovery of this other valuable item, and that their destinies were forever together.
Yes. Two were born on the same day, the Kolar Gold Fields, KGF, and Rocky himself.
And I like that the second trailer repeated the same motif of, like, those serpentine, like, cavalcade of cars, like that kind of progression. And you know it's sinister, and because that, like, with that kind of, like, the parade of cars, you know that's, like, a sign of power and protection and something that is, you know, can be a challenge. And I like that was reflected in the second trailer compared to this one.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
I love the visuals as well. I thought it was interesting that in Chapter 1 here, the colours are a lot brighter. There were kind of primary colours. There was an aerial shot of like a big red sash, like a scarf kind of blowing, this great sheet that was bright red. And yet there were also the kind of muted colours, and I think it showed the difference between the super rich and the elite and the slaves, who were all kind of muted, like sand-type colours. Really striking visuals as well, like Rocky with the chains hanging from his wrists as he gets on the bike, the gates coming up and revealing the slaves from the ground up. It was, like, genuinely, it takes you on an emotional journey. Even just that trailer.
But I think within that, you've also got the contrast, because there was one point at which he used his chains as a weapon.
Yes.
And then there were other points where they were representing kind of the ruling people in a really fragile way of kind of being stood alone and just kind of seeming a lot more accessible, like, and vulnerable, I guess. I quite liked that there were those, like, contrasts there as well.
Yeah. The other thing that strikes me is, say with Hollywood movies, you get movies with quote-unquote cool guys in it. You get cool visuals of cool guys with cool guns and cool beards. And, it just looks like a cool movie. But when you come to watch it, it can feel a little bit empty. Like, there's no story behind it. It can just be a bit empty action. And to me, and not seeing yet KGF Chapter 1, but it definitely has that same visual quality. Like, Rocky's character looks really cool. Looks like a cool guy that I would aspire to be.
Even as a slave, really commanding
Exactly.
presence.
Even as a child, the
Yes.
child standing over smashing that vase thing, the jug thing. But it clearly has so much soul behind it as well. And maybe that's the key to this movie's success, is just the incredible visuals, the artistry in the filmmaking of this movie, but also the incredible story that it tells of somebody who's born to a widowed mother, dying of cancer, essentially enslaved, and his army effectively are slaves at the end of this movie as well, fighting against the rich and the elite. I think that's a story that everyone can identify with world over. And I wonder if that's why this movie just gained such universal appeal worldwide, outside of the population that it was aimed towards initially. And it's worth mentioning as well that this movie in Indian rupees, so Indian currency is counted in lakhs, which is 100,000, or crore, which is 100 lakhs, so basically 10 million. And this movie was made for 80 crore Indian rupees, which in US currency is about $11 million. So this was actually the highest budget Kannada language movie ever made, but it certainly looks like a high budget movie to me. The stunts look incredible, the scenery looks incredible, and it's filmed in real sets. There's no CGI trickery behind this. It's real actors and real sets.
With so much depth and weight to especially when they're in mines where you're kind of relying on the rocks actually looking like rocks. The depth that you get there is incredible.
Yeah. So the movie was made for 80 crore Indian rupees, about $11 million, but it collected at the box office 250 crore Indian rupees, or about $34 million. So it made 3 times what they spent on it. And no wonder they came back to make part 2. And again, I think that's something about not only the appeal within Kannada-speaking people, but they translated it and dubbed it into 5 other Indian-spoken languages the day after it released in Kannada. So I guess that speaks to the popularity in India. But everybody in the US, everybody in Europe's heard of KGF at this point. It's a sensation. So I think the people that made this should be proud. I'm so glad the folks who recommended that we check out Chapter 1, the trailer at least, but I'm actually now excited to watch Chapter 1. It's on Amazon Prime Video here in the US, so anybody with Amazon Prime, which is 100 million plus people, can check it out. So I recommend you go check out KGF Chapter 1 now on Prime Video. We're eagerly awaiting the trailer for KGF Chapter 2, not the teaser.
Yes.
And we will be back next time, friends, when we see you again on the next Drunk Trailer Ambush.
Peace out, nerds.
Namaste, friends.
Shut up and sit down.